We're back with the second half of our Lower Deck Season 4 comment responses. I took a little bit of extra time to work up kind of a subscriber / click like / click the bell icon attention getter. Someone in the past video I just did mentioned maybe to create an in-universe call to action to subscribe. You know how you watch a video and it's like, remember to click like, subscribe. I hate those things, but maybe if we try one that seems cool, it's kind of a conundrum. You see, I wanted to come up with one that's fast. It has to be fast, attention getting, not annoying, in universe, in a manner of speaking, and number one, attract people who are already amenable to the imagery and iconography of Star Trek, right? So that's people who are not subscribed right now, but are watching, right? So you have to not annoy the people who are already subscribed, but you have to intrigue people who would subscribe and not worry about too much about the people who never were going to anyway. So what I came up with is this little number right here. And this is not final. This video has a yellow border, which means it's not that important what really goes on in this video. Like, I have a red border, that means it's important. Yellow, it means it doesn't really matter kind of what happens in the video per se. I don't have a blue border yet. I don't know what that... If I ever manage to do live streaming somehow, maybe I would use a blue border, you know, to get all the division colors. But right now, subspace communications aren't that great on this ship. We'll say that. So let's check out my attention getter in 3, 2, 1. What do you think of that? Is it in the right corner? Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it not big enough? It's a TOS communicator chirp sound. I think we all like that. I'm trying to come up with something it's endearing and you don't really mind hearing it, right? Like it's a sound that plays into your expectations regarding Star Trek itself. It looks like the channel. Like I 3D modeled it, so it matches the kind of subtle design language of the way I tend to design things. And the border around the text is very similar to the thumbnail borders I use. It's in the same language, right? Feel free to say it's terrible and get rid of it. Feel free to say how to fix it. But there it is. That's what I've created over the last few days. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's a little different. I don't think you see it that exact type of one in most Star Trek channels. I don't watch many of them, but I have a feeling that they don't have one as cool as that one. So let's get into the comments. Powercage is back again. Look, for Star Trek Lower Deck Season 4 Episode 6 review. I'll take the 5,000 raptures of Yemek sauce, please. Well, that's probably a reference to the intro skit I did for that video, which I thought was really funny. It's just like it's like the trade offer meme, if you've been seeing that one, but it's with a Ferengi ship and the DINGWALL, and it's like and there's like even a mouse icon thing trying to select no, and it doesn't work. It's go back and check it out if you want to. I thought it was pretty cute. And so did he, I guess. So thanks a lot, powercage. Oh, and then again, it's rare for a skit section to get 2 comments like this. MichaelPapp is saying, I keep hitting yes, but all that does is make the screen go dark and then not dark. I think your link is broken. Blame the Ferengi who designed it, you know? It's not me. It's not my fault. I didn't make the trade offer. That must have been a really good one to get 2 comments like that. It's hard making a new one every single week that works at all. And they look like crap, but I just keep doing them because it's fun. But it's hard to come up with a new one that's like topical and makes sense. It's hard on the head sometimes. I got to see Rom and Nog live in on-stage performance. Max and Aaron, poor Aaron. Poor Aaron Eisenberg died a few years ago now. I knew it was recently, so my condolences. Sorry about that. I'd like to go full costume at conventions. Cool. Nog's teeth fell out mid-show. They, being the pros they were, went with it. Made a funny bit about bad quality and disgustingly putting it back in the mouth after. I feel lucky now that Aaron has passed away to have had such a good experience. Yes, because of he and Max. Yep. Wish I thought to record it. Well, yeah, people aren't here forever, so make the best of it now. I haven't seen anybody in person from Star Trek, sadly. I know people that did in real life, but they were in the Ferengi Library, if I remember correctly. My take on Mariner's issues this episode was she had no issues. This is a woman who's not had issues for years. For the first time in a long while, Mariner had nothing to revel against. No reason to be mad, yet she's not able to just turn all that rebelliousness and aggressiveness off. Like, yeah, I thought this is my, something was supposed to happen this episode and they got rid of it. Mariner's plot is just kind of nothing. There's something about it. This is like a weak Mariner episode. It's just my feeling on it. Even though I thought Mariner was getting pretty strong in this season. I understand the point of her behavior. It was so well, she's still growing a hell of a lot. She's still learning. I do feel the lesson was received. At the very least, Mariner's realized she had an issue with this time because she didn't know how to have one yet. She didn't know how to not have one yet. Hopefully, she got the message and we'll move on now. Or we see her seek help for, which I think would be... Who's that Ferengi guy that she was talking to? Like... What? How come... He should have played into the finale. Like, looking back, right? Having a main character seek therapy for problems would be a lovely depiction. Yeah, Miglimo. Call him. Help take the stigma away from the idea of mental health therapy. Also show us Dr. Miglimu. No idea how to spell that. That's how I want to spell it now. Is good at his job and not just a pretty face. Yeah. She didn't know how to not have a problem. That's an interesting way of looking at it. The monitors surrounding Dooku also look at the CBS logo. Yes, I know. I think I mentioned that the thing behind his head looked like the CBS logo with the mountains. And the dialogue that was coming across, and I don't know, this show, and a few other seasons ago, I don't know if I'm imagining things, like I'm seeing something that isn't there, but there's a few moments where this show was like, I think they were poking at Alex Kurtzman, and this time CBS. I don't know. What are they saying? He's mindlessly consuming boring, repetitive television with the CBS logo behind him. Like, what are they exactly saying here? It's interesting. It's yes, it's witty, but I think deeper than that. Maybe you can read even more into that episode. I always said that nothing happens randomly. Like, if you watch something and you say, "Huh, that was weird," that just means there was a lot of stuff going on under the hood. Some people can watch something and not get anything out of it. They just say, "Oh, that was fun." But if you've ever tried to create something, almost nothing is just random. Like, there's something behind everything. So maybe that episode should get a relook for more tidbits. Maybe people hid things in there. People have done that before. I'm reminded of the time Voyager went back to the yes. Well, then Kes and Neelix became invested in soap operas. Aw, I love this trope. I think it's adorable. Yeah. But it's funny, but I'm not 100% sure that Boimler should have spent the entire episode there. I said in that review that I thought that he should have got removed forcibly from the room and then met up with Mariner again, and then they completed some other plot, I think would have really fleshed the episode out. It's a little... There's not a lot on the bone without that for this episode. It's not terrible by any means, but it is my least favorite episode of the season. I'd like to dine at this location. The security guards dressed like TNG security officers made me lose it. I cackled. Yeah, you want to go eat at Little Starfleet? You're going to eat at my home. Yeah, you're going to have, spaghetti and pizza and stuff like that we eat all the time? I don't know. I don't like mysterious and spooky things. If I was going to eat anywhere, it'd be at the Little Federation place. Just make mine plain, please. I don't want anything spooky. I'm scared. I'm just an engineer. I'm not supposed to be doing all this stuff. That is a good observation. I didn't notice. I actually didn't think anything at all. However, it feels obvious now that you said it aloud. Did you notice the Ferengi lower decker was expecting the ship? Was told there was a prop to be made. Either that ship did indeed swindle the swindler, or he was waiting for someone else. Only the ship showed instead. Perhaps after getting the ship the Ferengi was waiting for. What are you talking about here, exactly? I had remarked in that review that episodes seem to coincide thematically or in terms of its setting or characters with the mysterious ship event at the beginning, like for the teaser. We know what this ship was, the Nova 1. Spoilers, right? But in the episode that was about Ferengi, this one, the Nova 1 abducted Ferengi. In the episode that was about Orions, the Nova 1 abducted Orions. And I just noticed that they coincide like that. You know, it was just an observation. Yeah, and there was, if you go back and you read into what these characters are saying, especially in the Ferengi episode, this one, did you notice the Ferengi lower decker was expecting the ship? Actually, that means somebody, and we learned that this did happen, somebody was fomenting mutiny on these ships in order to make them easier to steal, I don't know, to build the Nova fleet, if that's what it was called in the final episode. But yeah, it's a hallmark of a good season when you can go back to earlier episodes and get more out of it after you know what happens at the end. That's a good sign. I'll say that. It's a sign of good writing. Ron was playing dumb to con the Admiral. It was great. He and Lita made a good negotiation team. Really shows off their strong marriage. I loved how, as leader of his people, the Grand Nagus checked to make sure more than just Sisko understood Ferengi culture. True. In the end, Rom signed a standard Federation agreement thanks to our good captain's familiarity with the rules of acquisition. As she claimed last episode, she's good at her job. Something similar happens in this in Strange New Worlds with, I want to call them the Rongovians, or the Rogovians or something. Do you remember that episode of Strange New Worlds where it's in season 1, I think, where there's these aliens trying to negotiate entering the Federation, and it works out because Pike, I think Pike did it. It was either Pike or Spock, and there was some shenanigans in the background of that episode that I'm not going to get into, but it worked out that if they were just honest with each other, they would like that. So they just said, listen, the Federation, you're part of the Federation, it's dangerous, X, Y, and Z, here's the truth. And that, like, won them over. And it was, like, the knowledge of being forthright and transparent with these aliens was what they wanted. Do you remember that episode of Strange New Worlds? It really reminds me of that. And I kind of like that episode, but I don't think, it's not amazing, but it's all right. And the main concept is all right. I liked it more than the average person, because there's a lot of weird stuff in it too, but, you know, it kind of reminds me of that. The idea of getting, and I think this is a kind of like a recurring Star Trek thing. How do we get aliens into the Federation? Well, we have to learn about them. We have to meet them halfway. And I think that recently in Star Trek, the process of, like, entering or re-entering the Federation has gotten easier. It's gotten, like, too easy. It's a little bit hokey. But, you know, this is a step. You know, I appreciate that. That's good. Like, I think back to getting Earth and Ni'Var, I think, back into the Federation in Discovery. And we do it in just, like, one season. Like, it's like, there you go. I was just like, man, that's a little fast. Like, I've seen stuff in real life. And, you know, we're trying to figure out where to put, where to put the washing machine. and people will argue over it for 10 years. So, and we're trying to talk about entire planets here, people. So it's a little bit hopeful, but hey, Star Trek's a hopeful show, so we're gonna go with it. I got the impression that the Admiral gave it to her. If he wanted it, he would have taken it, tossed it after she was like, "Uh-oh, what the boop do I want with this?" The bust, the whatever material is made out of, the little statue of the I think it was of the Admiral, and I don't know. I like things. I'm the type of person who likes stuff, and I put little statues and stuff everywhere. And I got like, look here, my desk. There's a little turtle. You know, I'm not a hoarder, but I have a hard time throwing things up. So yeah, the Admiral didn't want it. Here, you can have it. Okay, thanks. Oh, I don't want it either. In the garbage. Come on. Keep it, Captain Freeman. Put it on the bridge. It's going right on the bridge. We learned from negotiations that respecting cultures is the best way to get friends. True. Tenney and Rutherford's adventure seemed really sitcom plot-like, which I guess makes sense because Lower Decks is indeed... Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a sitcom. It's a situation comedy, which I think that's what that means. I'd say maybe their story is about not forcing things on people. They seem happiest as they are for now. Mariners is easiest. Sometimes you can have anything going for you, but still not let go of your negativity. Yep. Like I said before, I think this is about as far as I'm willing to take her antics. Yeah, it's either I've dealt with it or I want the next season to, I want to see season 5. This is my main thing. I want to see Mariner transform into Captain Freeman. I want to see that, and I want to see her at the end of that season get another promotion, maybe. Just maybe. I think that would be cool. I want to see that. It's time now. It's time to wrap it up. The next season should be like, we had Rutherford's cool season, like season 3 with Reflections. Mariner here, I think this is like a Mariner season because of LOLCARNO and all that business. And either the next season's either going to be Tendi or Boimler, right? Because Tendi is off. Hopefully she's not written out of the show or something. I don't know the behind the scenes details, but let's get this Tendi season going. Let's get this Boimler season going. Maybe if we can really challenge Boimler, I don't know. Let's find out though. Boimler was a bit of a gag plot, I admit. Some rare satire thanks to the Paramount CBS logo in the background, plus content of the TV. Landlord cops. That's not a comment. I couldn't help but laugh at this. I just thought this was funny. This is so stupid I would have watched it. Commentary in the current housing market. I don't know what it is. Doesn't he force him to sign something? It was so funny. I do think the Office type show was most for laughs. Though Boimler did pause on two dudes smooching. I don't know if anyone's made a stink, but I happily haven't heard anything of the sort. It's funny. It's just to just see like Boimler just agape, just experiencing like weird office romance that that's so alien to him. He doesn't understand what's happening. It's funny. Not like that stupid issue with the hijab. Was there something in last episode? Was there? I don't even remember. In the one before this, I don't remember seeing it. But hijab is a type of hat or something, right? Have you noticed that whenever a character like Talin, or Roland, I think as well, had it. Whenever they have some type of headdress or something else on their person, it coincides with their division color. It's just something I noticed, and it would be cool if you could if they sold those, but it would be also be kind of stupid if they did, because it's just like, oh, cool, it's a blue headband. Way to go. It's so bland, but it's just something I was just thinking about. So I bet you, I don't remember it, but I bet you that the hijab coincided with that person's division color. I can at least get behind the folks wanting no human religion because Earth is now secular. However, that's probably unlikely. A real secular society will protect everyone's right to their personal beliefs. Therefore, the cultural aspects of many religions will continue on. Billions of people wear religious iconography or dress accordingly to said religion out of sincere desire to. Yeah, we don't mind when aliens do it. I remember, I just think back to Worf being able to have his, what is it, a sash? What's that thing you wear over your person that's kind of like a diagonal thing? It's like that. I can't ever hate on a person wearing a hijab, even if I think it's stupid. I turn my nose at, what is that? Yermolks? I'm sorry if I'm a bit of an alien. Okay, yeah. It's that little round hat that I see sometimes, and I have no idea how it stays on. And I never had the courage to ask someone how they get it to stay on. I can't keep a hat on my head. I've struggled with that my entire life. Hats just... My head is really big at the top. And it's not shaped like a normal head. Like hats, I can't wear ball caps. I try to put them on. If I bend over, they fall off. The slightest breeze blows them off. I've had this my entire life. I have to wear those hats that go really down low. So it sucks. So I have hat theories. Where the heck was I? Okay, yeah, I turn my nose at yarmulkes. That's probably not how you pronounce that.
Dust is always in the air, and cleaning it, is the worst. So get a Swiffer duster. It captures dust in one swipe without lifting a thing.
Guys,
3 times more dust. Oh yeah. You'll
get
Swiffer.
It's good. Get Swiffer, dude. It's cool.
Eritrean boy with a tartan yarmulke in the entire world.
Yarmulke. How would I guess that? How would I guess that? Just based on how that's written. I turn my nose at yarmulkes too. Also, nuns wearing a habits. Greatest. I guess a habit is something that a nun wears. I'm just gonna believe that. For me, a habit is like being addicted to coffee. Sorry, bad habit. Great, was Sally Fields starring as the flying nun. Oh my god. I remember that. I saw that. And Sister Act 1. Only. I'm not familiar with Sister Act 1. It's not my place to tell them what to wear or even tell them they shouldn't without being asked. Yeah. Thanks for the little story. I like when people care enough to write something big. Now we're on episode 7. A Few Dollars More, starring Clint Eastwood and directed by Sergio Leone. The movie is a sequel to A Fistful of Dollars, which was the basis for the TNG episode Fistful of Datas. The last of Fistful of Data, is that the one where Data is like rolling the dice and he does it all cool like? The last of Leone's so-called Spaghetti West trilogy is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I've heard of that. All with Eastwood in the lead. These are great films, worth watching. I'm not super into westerns, but even I appreciate the films for what they've done for pop culture. Yeah. So the name A Few Badgies More coincides with A Few Dollars More. So but the episode didn't feel like a western to me or anything like that. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because it's a funny name, so we should use it. The rule of funny is paramount, not Paramount Plus, but it is paramount to being funny. I agree. No real danger. The lieutenant's junior grades or lieutenant junior grades went with the flow for the intel. Yeah, I remarked how this episode is action packed, brimming with adventure. It feels like we're almost about to die all the time, but nobody seems really too worried about it. It's an interesting episode. This episode is I think in the review I was saying that it's like it seems like it's tonally clashing, but it's doing it in like a weird meta way. Like all this stuff is happening around us and we're just going with the flow, and it never feels dangerous. Lots of crazy stuff is happening, but we never feel unsafe in this episode, and I think that's intentional. I'm not gonna. I don't want to call it like an issue. I think it's actually was written like that on purpose because this is a very interestingly written episode. As seen with the writer strike, AI is a huge looming issue on their collective minds. It makes a lot of sense that the bad guy lately has been the thing threatening their jobs. Yes, this is. I think I mentioned that it seemed like technology, AI, automation was becoming the villain a lot in Star Trek. There was episodes before, but recently we're seeing it repeating itself in that way, and I guess it could be because of AI. I know right now, or back in the day on Earth in the 2020s, people used to worry about that stuff before we fixed it, and I guess back then it was a problem. It's not that good though. It's good, but it's not that good though. Come on now, Riker and Picard become Berkeley and get tight under their collar for a hologram. I did love the Bognars though. That race was super interesting and better than the episode that introducing us to them. Their ship design is exactly what. Yeah, I love the ship. God, whoever is designing the ships for the animated Star Trek stuff, like particularly Lower Decks, get them for the live action stuff. It's better. It's better. It's better than the Shrike. I hate to keep yapping about the Shrike. I don't even like the Titan A. I don't like the Titan Prize. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I don't like the design of things that sucked in Picard Season 3. Same thing for a lot of the stuff in Strange New Worlds, but that's not as bad, I don't think, just design-wise. I'm like saying my heroes are sorry. I'm complaining about my heroes. It's awful. I'm complaining about Doug Drexler. I'm complaining about like John Eves and like I don't know. They're not Andrew Probert. They're not Bill George. They're not Matt Jeffries. So but they're good. How hilarious! By the way, that episode, you get to see the Enterprise go back into space dock with cool music. You get that. You get to see people at space dock walking around wearing uniforms. So it's not that good, but maybe it's not that bad, And and you get I think you get the self-destruct sequence on the Enterprise, and you get the different computer voice that's not Majel Barrett. So something's happening. And you get to see Picard sit in the pilot seat or the helm, I think. How hilarious would it have been to have had entire pages of text on screen wherever the Bonnier spoke, but like in super fine print, so as to not dominate the screen. That's probably what I would have done if I had really thought about it and think about it. Imagine just freaking people out and making them want to keep pausing it. But it's kind of, I don't know, you're riding the line between annoying people and making them laugh. You're riding the line with that one. But I think I would have did it. I think I would have just had a wall of text go by and actually have someone just type up just whatever. Just like, it has to kind of make sense, but maybe we could get like a copyright-free scientific document and just kind of copy-paste it into the script or something, or maybe pay for one and then have credit at the end. I think it could work. It feels very TOS-ifer, I think. The jump first, plan later attitude is up there with, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission in Kirkiness. Kirkiness, I like that word. I also like, this is when Mariner, without thinking, just followed Rutherford to that ship. I think they did an annoying spacewalk again. I'm tired of flying around in space. I just don't want to see it. That's it. I just don't want to see it. But they did it here. But thankfully they transported after like a certain distance. But mostly I like the fact that we can say TOS as like an adjective, and we know what we mean. Isn't that interesting? Like, wow, this is very TOS. That was very TOS of you. It can even be a verb. I'm gonna TOS this, and people would know what you meant. If people watch a lot of Star Trek, they know, like, if I'm looking out the window and something bad's happening, I say, I'm gonna TOS this up. I'm just gonna, like, run out there and scream at them, and just figure it out as I go, and basically almost die every single day. We know what we mean by TOS like that. I don't think Boims was too conned. I get the feeling he and Tendi were expecting Agnes as traps and just went along for the intel. Yeah, it's a weird plot. It's to get behind. It's like Tendi and Boimler seem like they're enjoying the adventure with Agamis. Like, there's never really any chance for something to go really wrong. Like, maybe they have a kill switch, but they were just hey, let's go on an adventure with this evil robot. It sounds like it's a weird sell in the writer's room, but when you see it in action, it's like, okay, it's working. Tendi's happy noise for the sand was delightful. Yeah, the little squeal. Dude, you just blew... Okay, I have to see what this is. Dude, you just blew my mind. Yeah, this is, this dude, you just blew my mind. This is me, referencing or claiming that this episode is maybe sub-level inspired by the motion picture. I love the motion picture so much that I see it everywhere, which, like, it's kind of a deficiency of mine. Like, you don't want to, like, you know, what do they say? When you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Like, pareidolia? What is that term for it? You see something everywhere. I really like grasshoppers, so I see them everywhere, right? So I really like the motion picture, so I see it very strongly in the DNA of this episode. Yes, Badgie defeats logic and ascends to a higher plane of existence. And those are the broad strokes of the motion picture, in my view. Right? This is not a review of the motion picture, but thanks for going along with me on that human adventure, which is just beginning, MichaelPapp. No, I see it too now. I don't know if it's accidental or intentional, but Badgie loosely follows the arc of V'ger. Yes, and this is going along with the previous comment. People ascending. It's happened before, I think, too, in Lower Decks. It's like poetry. It rhymes. I think we know what that is. I was so happy to see the peaceful resolution with all the issues. Peanut Hamper being rehabilitated is indeed what I wanted for her. However, an episode or two of her with Agnes being villains together would have been sweet. Yeah, but then again, you only got 10 episodes a season. Still, as I love the exocomps from TNG, I was unhappy PH was the only modern presentation. Seeing how nice for her family was made her smile, her going good. Felt like it was a washed a bad taste from my mouth. Yes, Agamis is going to spread his message of positive personal emotional dominance to Lord Tyrannokilicus. I think this episode also maybe references I will burn your heart in a fire. That from season 3. I think someone says that in that, which another one for the list of things that live in my head rent free from Lower Decks. I want them to be bros now, mainly because I want more Lord Tyrannokilicus. That the possibility of Captain Picard will say Lord Tyrannokilicus has gone from 0 to at least something. It's not 0 anymore. Picard may have to say Tyrannokilicus. Maybe you can get him on Fiverr or Cameo or whatever that thing is where you pay a celebrity to say something, and you can get Patrick Stewart to say Lord Tyrannokilicus. You never know. Could you imagine if Picard was the one who brought Lord Tyrannokilicus in? It's my personal headcanon until I am told otherwise. This episode felt like a true mind meld of comedy and Star Trek. This episode is weird. I love it though. I think it's maybe even better than I reviewed it. The score, I don't know. There's something about it. I think about it still. Curse you, sir! I will never unsee this. The animation error. I'm sorry I brought it up, but that short performed. By the way, it did numbers. The one where I exposed the vile, dastardly animation error that lasted for like 2 frames in season 4, episode 7. The trekkiest name possible? The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Remember when we got to Deep Space Nine, and there was like the longest name anybody had ever seen for an episode? What was that? Something about something and the something river. Do you remember that? And everybody thought this was crazy. Like, this is too long. And then in Discovery, we had what was it? It's more recent, so it's like the something cares not for the lamb's cry or something, like these long sentence names, and then you get caves where it goes so far in the other way that it's just funny. Might be my favorite episode of the season. Might be Caves. I'm gonna guess the aging body horror of poor Delta Shift not born with mishealing leg. I was correct. Yes. That's the funniest thing that's ever happened in Lower Decks. Seeing, I think his name was Asif, healing his leg wrong. Oh no, it's healing wrong! And it's answering this question. I always wondered this my whole life. When you see something that, as you get closer to it, it speeds up time. What does that do to an injury? Like, what happens to things that have to take time to change? Like, what? I always wondered this stuff. Like, I just wonder about stupid things like this. Like, what would happen if somebody was pregnant and walked towards that thing? What's that feel like? What would it look like? Oh. Anyway, like, imagine seeing someone just like if there was an alien or a character who grow back a limb, and you see them walk towards that thing, and the limb falls off and then grows back and then falls off again or something, or a character who sheds, what that would look like maybe like a Saurian would shed. I don't know, just guessing. Very cool, or not cool, I don't know. It's disturbing, but I love it. Or the supposed creeping rock that appeared to be swallowing Kira. True, yes. It was the female founder in disguise, but that was the same threat of danger. Yeah, there is like living, sentient rock that kind of grows. Not unlike the rock from Deep Space Nine that was swallowing Kira. It is kind of a scary thing, being, if you're claustrophobic, being stuck in a small spot with something creeping around you that's not a Horta. It's just a rock. It would be scary. Yeah, the supposed creeping rock, the sense of danger. That episode, that review, got 10 views. Man, it was discouraging. People care about Picard. If Picard went on for another 3 seasons, this channel would grow with it, right? But it doesn't really benefit me to keep having Trek that no one cares about. Like, that sucks to me. I'm gonna still review it, but seeing 10 views is really frightening. Oh my God! I remember when I saw this comment. If I thought of this, that's what the episode would have been called. You know how I like to come up with these little funny names? Like, this one's called Cave Stories. Oh man, if this had been a clip show, we could have named it Caves of Grey. That's what I would have called it if I had thought of that, but I didn't think of it. Shades of Grey, the best TNG episode. Did you notice how Tendi was the one who got super upset about Rutherford's cave baby with the doc? And I posted that little worried kind of emoji. What's that mean? The Devil in the Dark. Yeah, The Devil in the Dark is my favorite TOS episode. This is the one with the Horta, I believe. Every time I think of that episode, I think of Spock looking at that weirdly spherical stone on the guy's desk, and like what Spock's thinking. And are you thinking what Spock's thinking? Is the audience thinking the same thing? This is really round, isn't it? Is that a rock? Is that a natural formation? What is this? That's something I always think of. I imagine Spock just looking at the thing and wondering about it. Still no T'Lyn. However, it's been said she's going to be in season 5 a whole lot. Is she replacing Tendi? So I'm willing to accept her not being in this episode. Could have been nice if this was her first cave story, though. Yeah. And, what is this stuff? MichaelPapp again. Did you do this? It's gorgeous. Yes, I made this. Am I doing something wrong? Am I not getting it across clear enough that I make all this stuff myself? I don't know, but thanks a lot for the kind words for Frozen Forever, that image. Is one of the surprises that episode 9 is a Halloween episode? Dunno. I hope I don't find out until the episode's there. Yeah, it was more like about spoiler stuff. Episode 9, that's the one you really don't want to spoil. It sets up a lot of stuff. I think they were right in that little warning to tell people don't spoil this, please, if you happen to see it early somehow. It's the one where we find out about LOLCARNO and Sito and all that stuff, and it really sets the stage. So you don't want to spoil that one. But the surprise wasn't that it was a Halloween episode, even though it basically coincided with Halloween. And Lower Decks is fertile ground for a Halloween episode. Strange New Worlds was very experimental in season 2. Season 3, it maybe, if it coincides with next Halloween, maybe we could get an out-and-out Halloween episode. Maybe we could literally get an episode where they say the word Halloween and they actually dress up as stuff. Wouldn't that be cool? Like, somebody brings up, I can't remember when the last time somebody said Halloween on Star Trek was, but it would be cool if, like, maybe they find, like, oh, look at this old thing that they used to have on Earth where they dressed up and they put on costumes and they knock on other people's quarters, and then they have to come to the door and open it up and give them something. You can have that idea for free, CBS/Paramount, whoever's listening. I don't know. God forbid somebody's listening to this. Kyler Storm, for episode 9 of Lower Decks, season 4. Mark, there is only one reason I wish I watched LD, and that would be to watch your videos. Unfortunately, I find the show insufferable, so I am just stopping by to say hey. Also, I lolled at the intro of the Starship trick-or-treating. Thanks. Good to see people mentioning the skits, the intro 3D animated skits for this season. Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad that you came in here to, say your piece and all that. And I wish more people would, like, get on board with some of these things and, like, kind of, like, stay along for the ride with whatever it is. I wish my reviews were more entertaining on their own without having seen the source material, like, that I'm reviewing. It's hard to do that, though. There's types of reviews. There's a review that's, like, longer, written. It comes way after the material to be reviewed in question, but it's entertaining on its own. And then there's another type of content where it's a review that comes out as fast as it can, feasibly, and does a blow-by-blow, and then gives you the kind of like a no-nonsense type of review for that episode. And I'm in that camp. I don't think you can get a lot out of this on its own, but so that makes it hard to watch if you're not actually watching the show. I understand that. So thanks a lot, Kyler Storm, for chiming in, though. MichaelPapp is back. My top 10. Look, we can just drop our top 10 episodes here, and you're just baiting me right now to try to drop my top 10 here, but I'm not going to do it. That's a big question. I can't just come out willy-nilly and drop it in the middle of this episode. No. My top 10 TNG episodes are The Measure of a Man, good. Reunification, good. Data's Day, good. The Offspring, good. Yesterday's Enterprise, my favorite TNG episode. Cause and Effect, it's alright. Power Play, it's alright. Parallels, it's alright. Cupid, It's all right. Conspiracy, I like it more than the average person. Reunification, I think, is the two-parter with Spock on Romulus or whatever. It's a good it's good two-parter. Yeah. So this is a good selection, but like I said before, I could just about name 10 other episodes that you would believe would be my top 10 feasibly, because there's that many good episodes of TNG. That's what's so interesting about it, right? Like if I put in Who Watches the Watcher, there you go. I'm not gonna just say my 10 favorite episodes, but in no particular order. I could just drop in, Who Watches the Watchers. I could drop in even Best of Both Worlds. I actually like that. I don't think it's amazing, but I really like it. I think it's a little bit overrated. I could drop in, let's see. I could drop in Family. I like that one. But let's move on quickly. I justify it by assuming the doc waved a blue light over it, hopefully. The eyes don't explode, they just pop out. Presumably they can be cleaned and pop right back in. Heck, that's possible now, as long as nothing is cut. Why not? Oh, God, but we don't say it. The poor civilian scientist is just on the ground, presumably with his eyes falling out. Just drop one little line from Dr. T'Ana later. Say, we got that guy fixed up, and we're A-okay. You're not the only person who noticed the cleaner-looking ship. I didn't. Hell no. I didn't even notice all the Star Wars references in the background. Other YouTubers did so, though. Lots of references in this episode, I guess. I don't know what Star Wars is, though. What's that? As Starfleet officers, we have a duty to the truth, be it personal truth, historical truth, or scientific truth. I think I, erroneously quoted that or something in that review, and you corrected me there. So thanks. They're never going to mention it. That's what I think. And this is in reference to the similarities, seemingly, between Locarno and Tom Paris. I mean, personally, I don't really see it. They're not the same. They're just, I don't know, they just look really different to me. I don't know. It's just a personal thing, I guess. You might think they look the same, but I'm probably never going to mention it again, because they look different. They're not the same person. Sorry, buddy. My inference was the Klingons were working with Locarno. Yeah, when I was speculating about why it was that Klingon ship just kind of deorbits there and hovers around, and what is the relationship between them and the people that are on the planet? What is the relationship between him or those Klingons and Locarno? I don't know. It was a little bit odd in that episode. It's just kind of something dangling out there. My guess as to why the senior staff of the ships are on the planet is Locarno isn't bloodthirsty. He probably bribed the crap out of everyone and told them to deposit the captives on the planet. It's not his fault if they kill each other. Maybe he's not the type to kill himself. I mean, he himself is not the type to kill. Though I suppose he's also probably not interested in self-deletion. So technically I'm correct no matter what way you read the sentence, which is all that really matters in the end. Haha. Yeah, interesting villain for the season. I didn't really love it, but it was different. Something. You got this character who's not really bad. He does bad things. I don't think he's evil. I don't think he wants to kill people. But he did try to shoot Mariner at the end, so that's a black mark against him. But it's just it's a weird, it's kind of like he's setting up his own little TOS episode. We're going to have all these senior officers on this planet, and they're going to fight each other, and it's going to play da 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 da. Dude, Locarno is directing his own TOS episode. Awesome. The Klingon is young, too young to have served in the Dominion War, unlike Mariner, who was forced to fight in it. That's how she can hold her own. Experience versus youth, yes. Though the young captain is probably going to grow into a freaking legend. My kind of idea here on why Starfleeters tend to beat people in fights and all that is just because of Starfleet close quarters combat. I always assume that the close quarters combat techniques developed by Starfleet, and you do see them use certain special attacks and stuff, right? All the way back to the Kirk era. I always thought that was actually derived from many, many different planets. and it just necessarily beats techniques that are just from one, right? To a point, right? There's a limit to everything. That's kind of why I always kind of thought that. It's not like, oh, we're just very strong or we're very experienced. It's just like, if you know all the possible movements that an enemy can make and you make the correct decision at every moment, you will win, right? To a point. That's how I kind of always thought of it. Mariner was fine right up until she got promoted. We saw her develop into a competent and trustworthy ensign. Then she wasn't an ensign anymore. Uh-oh. The problem is she can't possibly handle the thought of being in authority over anyone else, to have their lives in their hands as a lowly ensign. She was protected from all that. She was unexpectedly thrust into situations she secretly dreaded. She was in charge and could potentially order someone to die, or just do everything yourself because that makes sense in crazy anxiety land. I like Boimler during the Cradle of Exelon. Yeah. Love the episode Cradle of Exelon. And this rings true, doesn't it? Should have been in engineering, you know? I find in engineering you can hide a little better. And you can just kind of like, meander along. Don't mind me. I'm just fixing stuff. I'm not going to get anyone killed, right? I'm not going to order anyone to do anything. I'm just fixing this pipe. No worries. Uh-oh. There's something wrong with the EPS conduit. Better go fix it. Sorry, I was in the bathroom at the time. I don't know. Psychiatrists can only help if you talk to them. If Mariner doesn't do anything legally requiring her to chat with them, no one can make her. When Mariner joined Starfleet, she was perfectly fine. Maybe. When she was promoted to ensign, she was pretty okay then as well. Just until after the Dominion War, she had a mental breakdown. She was past all the primary psych tests by then. Yeah, but I mean, what, if you have a ship's counselor, I don't know what the rules are on it though, but what kind of, or did they have the same authority as, say, like a chief medical officer? Like, medical officers can, basically, detain you. Like, they can, take away, your command ability and stuff like that. They can really mess you up, dude. They can also really fix you up. So, I don't know how the whole counselor thing works. I mean, it's beyond me to understand here, but, I'm just going to take this at face value. Romulans don't trust anyone. Cardassians don't either. Ferengi might be able to broker a deal, which they did. The one Klingon would not be welcomed, I'd wager. The Binaries seem like victims to me, not aggressors. Makes sense people to start fighting for resource and territory. Maybe. Is he being funded by Section 31? Is Bad Boimler aboard too? We haven't seen him in a while. Bad Boimler. Evil Boimler. Will Boimler. Thomas Boimler. I mean, something funny like that. I know he's got a mustache, probably. Different context. The Federation of the far-flung future is so different. They are a fraction of the presence and influence they have now. There is absolutely no reason at all to assume Federation officers would behave to a specific standard at all times. I'm sure they come across thuggish Federation officers, or even people presenting themselves as officers. The reputation Feds have might be wholly unrecognizable post-burn and temporal accords. Just to sneak in a minor complaint about Discovery. It's not super imaginative the way it works out in Discovery. The Federation is still just kind of the Federation. We're just not as powerful. Let's rebuild them. Get a little bit funny with it. Maybe there's another Federation that came from a different galaxy or something and is coming here now. And you just have to deal with there being two of them. I don't know, something weird like that. It's... And they do, it might be wholly recognizable, but is it really? Look at the badge, the division colors, and compare that to what was going on with, the U.S.S. Relativity, as it appeared in Voyager. Different division colors, insofar as they are part of quote-unquote Starfleet, or the Federation. Timelines being what they are and all that shenanigans. They had a totally different looking badge, and it was just really just go out there, do something crazy. Make the division colors all different, and make the pants not black or something. Like make the pants with the division color on. I don't know. Who said Billups needed to fake his credentials? He was pretending to be that bounty hunter guy. And normally I would agree. Maybe he wouldn't need to fake his credentials. But the Cerritos also had to, like, follow through a procedure to land on, to go to the plant. They had to go to the moon first and do all this extra shenanigans. So it seems like at odds with the established idea of this world that, it's surprisingly, quote unquote regulated, right? Like maybe Billups, here's this cool bounty hunter guy. We're just going to believe him. Maybe. I don't know. Again, no one said he had to fake his credentials, but it was just something that it would have been cool if they had it. This is your take on a Dyson Sphere. This is my take on a Dyson Sphere on Halloween. How did I not see that? From my Happy Halloween community post. Okay, we're on the final episode. Old friends, new planets. Nah, he thought he was rescuing her. Plus, he is so arrogant, he thinks there's no way Mariner would not be on his side. What with her rep. You shouldn't assume things about people, You must challenge your assumptions. Those assumptions one day come to challenge you. And LOLCARNO was not able to do that. Unfortunately. Or fortunately, because he was the villain and that led to him losing. So, depends on how you look at it. Yeah, mistrustful people who just got betrayed, dumped on a planet with each other. Conflict is what would happen. Absolutely. I honestly don't understand why that surprised you. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't know. I think if these people are just crewmen, like they're just field commissioned, maybe. But I assume that Starship Operation Doctrine, given that we all deal with the same physics in space, might be more similar than different than each other, which would lead them to better cooperate. I don't know. I just have a feeling like remember that time in Citizen Snare? Is that the Samaritan Snare? The TNG episode. I think Data remarks that it was amazing that the Pac-Lads were able to, even in their current state, work out the basic rudiments of space travel. So kind of suggesting that space travel itself leads to necessarily a certain type of demeanor and doctrine amongst its crew, especially senior staff and the like. There's always kind of been like that in Star Trek. Like, we can be from vastly different races, species, but there's a certain rapport we can find, unless they're the Borg, right? Like, pretty much everyone can be reasoned with except for the Borg, because of the statement I've just previously made. It's a little bit, it's a little bit of a judgment on my part, but yeah, that's what I was just thinking. LOLCARNO just wants what he always wanted: recognition and glory. He thinks becoming leader of an independent fleet will give him that. Well, it didn't. I did not get that impression. I do think LOLCARNO designed the ship, then Section 31 funded it. I'm going to go on the record as saying that I think this season something else is supposed to happen at the end. I got this weird feeling that there was something supposed to be beyond LOLCARNO. I think they cut it out. I think it wasn't working. I got a feeling. I don't know. Call it a hunch. Remember how old Rutherford in the episode Reflections designed his ship? And it kind of looked like something he would come up with. And then LOLCARNO designed something right out of Discovery Season 4. Something that looks like it would be alongside the relativity. I don't know. That's just me. But you can think what you want, certainly. LOLCARNO is so far up his own ass, sniffing his farts that the idea Mariner was on his side didn't even occur to him that she might not be on his side. He's not the type to make mistakes after all. He's a victim of circumstances, and everything is everyone else's fault. He's obviously correct, and naturally Beckett, the most demoted Mariner, agrees with him. I guess not. I guess assumptions can be wrong. No, LOLCARNO does not think things through at all. It shows. Lower Decks showed us exactly how dangerous LOLCARNO could be. He was a bother to several ships and a minor diplomatic kerfluffle for the region. He had too many flaws to be a prolonged problem. Yeah, I guess that's... you're either going to have a really cool villain that stays around for a while, or you're going to have a so-so kind of one-off villain who just kind of shows up and disappears. Pick one, and we picked the latter. Not a steam runner. The smaller, more maneuverable Saber runner. That's not the Saber class, but this portmanteau of Saber and steam runner is cute to me. Just happens to be almost visually identical to steam runner because I'm shrugging. I don't know what it is. Star Trek has a long history of taking an established class, changing its size, and just dropping it out there. Have fun, guys. Even though the windows don't match up, you can't. Number one issue is when you change the size of a ship, you don't change the the windows. It's immediately breaks the design. It's completely broken. There's no way to explain it anymore when you do that. I just hate that. It's the steam runner. It just is. It's what's more likely. It's a steam runner where they got the size wrong and somehow they accidentally made a different bridge module or something. Or it's a new class that exactly mimics the steam runner where they had some kind of strange design process where they can go onto the computer and just scale it down, and then the ship just builds itself as a scale, which just doesn't make... Okay, in engineering, things don't scale up or scale down the way you think they would. Like, you can't take a car and make it this big and have it still work right. Similarly, you can't take a car and make it the size of a building, make it the size of a shopping mall, and have it work the same. The way the material sciences, combustion physics, things like that, torque, it just doesn't work. It's mass and volume sensitive. Okay, and so it boggles the mind that we can just shrink things in Star Trek. I hate it. But it's far from being something that would hurt the episode, right? So I'm not that crazy that I'm going to complain that it hurt the episode, blah, blah. In my mind, I watched it. It was the steam runner. There you go. End of. They needed it because a Genesis device is a big bluff. Try to stop them and they'll use it. That sort of thing. Like a chip or a card they can play. Think of it as a nuke. Imagine if a cult leader got a hold of one. Didn't have anything to do with the Trinar shield. Yeah, multiple rewatches. I had a hard time parsing out what they were exactly saying there. But with regards to why getting the Genesis device back and the Trinar shield were important to each other, ultimately I just realized it didn't matter. I think Mariner's connection to Sita was a planned thing. I think Mariner must be 35 years old, right? This is the first episode I watched of Lower Decks where it made me go, wait a minute, how old are you? I think if on close inspection I could have came to that conclusion earlier, but in this episode it was really, at the front of my mind, kind of wait a minute, you remember Sito at the Academy and the Dominion War. Okay, so you're over 30. What are you, 35? And also there was that moment where Boimler remarked that they're the same age. But I know Boimler seems so much younger. I don't know. I think she's 35. I don't know. It's not super important, but I think Mariner's connection to Sita was a planned thing. Maybe not so fully, but they had to have an idea to connect LDS to TNG's lower. This is important. This is the meta reason for this season. Let's actually connect Lower Decks to the episode Lower Decks. I thought that was that in itself. That is an excellent idea from the get-go. It might not been the Academy. They could have had them together on another ship. Maybe the connection could have been to another ensign or the bartender from that episode. Yeah. Making it Cedo gave them access to the first duty, and I do completely buy how LOLCARNO turned out. Yeah, I can see how LOLCARNO could turn into this guy. He couldn't move past his trauma, refused to admit guilt or fault, and that became his defining trait. Yeah, he let a mistake define him forever. That's always a sad thing. T'Lyn said it, Cerrito strong. Starfleet is not always correct. That is the point of what Mariner is as a character. She believes in the cause of Starfleet. What are you talking about? Starfleet is always correct. What do you mean? However, they sometimes get bogged down by politics and by regulation. Sometimes it's better to sidestep that. And, you can do whatever you want. As long as you save the Federation, it's not illegal. The fact they rarely punish these captains for their disobedience shows Starfleet themselves is aware of the need on occasion. Remember, as Gabriel Lorca said back in Discovery Season 1, what did they say? Universals are for chumps and context is for kings. Maybe he was right, even though he was bad Mirror Universe Lorca. Context is for kings. Take things in context. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The River was exactly the kind of ship the Shriek should have been like. I couldn't pronounce. What was it called? The Redeemer, the Redemption, Oh my God! I'm making a joke about how I couldn't pronounce it, and I can't remember what it was called. There's something wrong with the name. I can't remember. There's so many names that start with R-E. Anyway, whatever that Orion ship was. It should have been like the Shrike. That should have been like what it was. Just an interesting kind of like, oh, look, the ship is this gigantic kind of irregular cylinder. It's something. It's not another Scimitar. It's not another Romulan-looking ship that's not the D'Deridex. They're all terrible. As soon as you go past the D'Deridex, it's just like everything is just angular nonsense. And the Shrike is like that Scimitar, and it just goes on and on and on. I just hate them all. Ugh. Acting Captain Boimler for sure. The joy of seeing him so confident. Yeah, I stood up and saluted. That's my captain when I saw that. Oh, that's too sad of a concept. No thanks. I didn't feel like crying as GD Genesis device selflessly sacrificed themselves while Nomad learns what sadness and loss is for the first time. God damn it, now I'm getting emotional. Haha. Yeah, my speculation that we could have an episode somehow or a show where a Nomad probe and a Genesis device fall in love. Good call predicting GD would come back into play. I mentioned that forever ago. Don't forget, guys, the mysterious ship, Nova 1, has a Genesis device now. Remember that? It's a far kinder end than he deserves. Pretty cool nonetheless. Yeah, the kind of starburst explosion. The way we kind of gave him like an ambiguous send-off was kind of cool. It kind of let people speculate. It's a good way to do it. Right? That's so freaking poetic. I love this show. What exactly were you referring to? Yeah, I believe you're referring to the starburst. LOLCARNO loved that starburst maneuver thing so much, he wore the icon of it on his uniform that he made for himself. And then when he dies in that explosion, it looks like 5 star beams like blasting out shards of light to kind of make, and the ship blocks one of them, and it's kind of like the starburst, right? He's falling on his own sword. Very poetic. It's more like he's retconned and gaslit himself into believing it. No doubt he's romanticized his time at the Academy to the point of based on a true story. People have a tendency to do that. Interesting that they use the word retconned for themselves. Retconning my own past. I really wish LOLCARNO didn't shoot Mariner. I know. That showed he was truly a bad guy. Made his ending feel, I don't know, hollow. If he had that sliver of decency in him, I could have felt the tragedy of his loss more. I think it was a very conscious choice. I think they probably thought about it. Should he shoot Mariner? I think there's a lot of different ways to read that, and none of which are incorrect. I think maybe in your delusion, you can do something evil like that. Shoot someone. Especially if it's Mariner, you know, it's someone, you know, important to the audience. Like it's like kicking a dog. That's how I identify the villain. You kick the dog. Come on, brother. All along is a lot different than friend of a friend from the Academy. Something syntax of that question. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. I kind of made a joke, kind of offhandedly said, invent a villain, and by the way, he was your brother all along. Yeah, that is a lot different than a friend of a friend from the Academy. I grant that. That was a little extreme, but sometimes when I'm trying to come up with an example fast, I get the most extreme example. So yeah, thanks. I hate it. I'm going to go ahead and guess this is about my idea for how Season 5 would work. With Tendi turning into a secret Orion villain for real, and Tendi is the villain of that season. And we have to stop her, and there's something about being the mistress of the winter constellations. It's actually ominous and bad and malevolent as hell. Yeah, I don't like it either, but it's just a thought. And here's like the kind of like a weird like commenting on the comment response from myself, kind of like loop. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna know all these ships by sight? Yeah, I'm still working on that ultimate ships tier list thing. I can only do so much before I start to lose my marbles and have to take a break for a little bit. Or that car with the meme car thing screaming off the high. Yeah, the one where it's like this sideways. They almost missed an exit. The highway is letting Tuvix live. The exit is murdering him to save two people. I heard somebody like argue, just using pure logic, how it was a good. This is. Feel free to forget this, but there was somebody said, if you look at it based on people, if you're able to vote on it, and it was Janeway as the captain. She has a vested interest in getting Tuvok and Neelix back. And if you consider Neelix and Tuvok as both voting to come back, it's 3 versus 1. But because Tuvix is not Tuvok or Neelix, he only has 1 vote. So it works out. Somebody's explained it to me like that before. I probably got that wrong, but they made sense to me like that. I think if I was on the ship, you would have maybe convinced me with that. But then again, I don't know. It's a bit of a conundrum. They kind of did resolve all the AI in the same episode, just not how or when I expected. Yeah. Badgies. Sounds like the polar opposite of a Trek Suicide Squad. I always thought that would have been cool to me. Cool to see in the unwritten fanfic. I put Lore, Thomas Riker, Icheb, Vash, and Sella on a Section 31. If only that Section 31 movie or show we got coming, it's not going to have any of that stuff. Lore would have a bomb in his head. The rest would be working off their sentences. Don't know what Icheb did. Then he got totally slaughtered. It didn't matter. Ugh. So I'm replacing him with the Duras boy. Yeah. There is supposed to be some Section 31 thing coming. It's not going to be as cool as that. I got a feeling. O'Brien, Kim, Wesley, Rom, and I'm going to say Broccoli. The sad sacks of Starfleet and beyond. This is actually a freaking phenomenal engineering team, so I don't know what I'm talking about calling them losers. Aww. O'Brien, what's wrong? I ripped my pants. I'd watch that show. Yeah, so wrong. Turns out her attitude was a series-long plot that was only just starting to resolve. Yeah. The thing with Cedo and all that, I'm gonna assume. Look at it like Starfleet engineers want. Oh boy, that crazy dude did freaking great work. He faked the Starfleet ship so hard he accidentally designed one. Let's just put the finishing touches on it and just go with it. Post-Dominion War, they might be more willing to take shortcuts. There's the Dauntless is like a thorn in my brain that keeps coming back. I love the Dauntless, but it's like it keeps hitting me again, and I'm thinking about all these different ideas with like, okay, did he accidentally design a really good ship, or did he steal Starfleet's files and just make the next logical leap, or like was it something he designed himself and then kind of like just put a Starfleet skin on it? Like, it's something I think about a lot. It won't leave me alone. Okay, so it's the difference between a Rage Against the Machine song and I don't know, Tool. They're the most structured lyricists I'm familiar with. I get it now. Thanks. This must have been about, what the heck is this about? Yeah, this is talking about the slam poetry. I'm trying to figure out, like, what it really is. What it really is for someone who doesn't know anything. That's what you're learning here. The most structured lyricist I'm familiar with. I get it now. Thanks. Yeah. That's right. Strange New Worlds has Subspace Rhapsody. You can watch that. Suggest people like and subscribe more. It works. I know. I'm working on that right now. Feels tacky, but more people do what is suggested them repeatedly. Put text on the shorts about liking and subbing as well if you want to keep it in universe. Maybe pretend you're doing a subscription channel. Listening to sad pads work like cell phones, tablets now. So that makes sense. I already did it. Thanks. I'm already on top of that. Well, I think I got something that works well. I think. It's just, we can't do these double digit views. And when I say double digit, I mean 10 for the episode Caves. I'm tired of that. Come on, guys. Snap to it. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I'm curious to know what your opinion of... I just answered this today, I think. Picard Season 3 is... I reviewed every episode. Mice Drinking Tea. I reviewed every episode. You can check it out. Picard Season 3 is generally pretty good. It gets a little worse as it goes on. Ultimately, it makes the best of a bad situation with regards to the state of everything that happened after TNG Generations all the way to Picard Season 2. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and click like on that comment. Oh, wait, no. It unliked it. No, I'm going to heart it. Whoever this guy, I think he's got a pretty good opinion of this. I'm going to go ahead and heart it. Good job. LT Marktrick. I don't know who the hell that is. Lit Marktrek. So, yeah, very, very good opinion on that. And Mice Drinking Tea, every episode is reviewed. You can look at it. And that is the end of our comment response for Lower Deck Season 4. It was an alright season. I think it was mostly just pattern holding for this series as a whole, that being Lower Decks. Didn't really break the bank in any super interesting direction. It didn't really go too far off in one direction. It was nice. It was a little refreshing. It was like a cold glass of water. Let's see what's next for Star Trek. What's next? Is it Prodigy? Is it Strange New Worlds? Is it Discovery? I really have no idea. I keep checking, not trekking, the website TrekCore to see if they're going to drop any deets on when the new shows are coming. But as of yet, I haven't seen anything. But we're moving forward with maybe some more Starship shorts. The ultimate Starship tier list video is coming. Unboxings. So hang around. Hopefully we're going to see traction with our new subscriber attention getter. And I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you next time I see you. So long.